get comments as to whether or not the amendment would be, the zoning change would occur. So those are the two things I'm in front of you tonight. To establish yourself as lead agency, and number two would be to establish a public hearing date for the zoning request so that the public could have input. And again, we will fully comply with seeker. We agree with the comments made and intend to comply with seeker.
Do you have any advice for us?
Lead agency should be established for a zone change, because the town board would be the lead agency in connection with that. It is a type 1 action, so they're going to need to file a long form. Until they file the long form, I wouldn't suggest setting a public hearing yet, because you're going to want to see there if there's any determinations that need to be addressed. If it needs more than a long form at that point in time, you might want to make those decisions at that point before you get into the timeframes of a public hearing. So my recommendation would be to declare yourself lead agency in connection with the zone change, and request that the developer submit the EAF, and then once you have that, then you can make decisions on when you want to have a public hearing. And how far and how much more of a hard look you're going to need to make in connection with the secret process.
Okay. So,
You know if they're gonna form a PUD zone for this? Are they looking to form a PUD zone for this?
No, the property, and I apologize for not having the map. I thought the engineer was going to be here. The property is completely surrounded by SR.
Right.
So clearly the zoning change that we're asking for is appropriate. It's not spot zoning. And then once that zoning change is established, we will be able to make decisions on how we move forward in terms of the planning process relative to your question. So, we're just looking to establish it in the SR zone.
so it might be a PUD down the road.
It's something that they're considering, or, we're looking into the benefits of that, or not moving forward with that.
Okay. Let's do the lead agency now. Someone care to make that motion?
I think the motion would become lead agency for changing the zoning from RR to SR.
Second?
I'll second
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who normally sends out the lead agency for you guys? Is that me, or you, or don't matter? All right. What?
I could do it if you want to do it. You can do it.
I'll do it too, okay.
And you'll
We
get us
can
the long
do it
form
together.
before we set a date for the public hearing,
We will be, our engineer will submit the long form to you ASAP.
because I agree with Michael on that one.
If we were to bring back the long form for the next meeting in 2 weeks, is there an ability at that point to look through it and then maybe set the public hearing at that point?
So
Let's
long
get
as
the
we have
long
enough
form,
time
and
to-
then we'll go from there.
Okay, good answer. All right.
And we need enough time to review it, don't forget that.
I
Don't just,
figured the meeting that night, you guys are quick studies.
yeah, give us a few more than 5 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
You want
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, I got something here tonight about expanding the Kiamisha Lake Sewer District, the final order. Michael, could you just go over that with us a
Yes,
bit?
this is 311. We did the background report. We went through the whole process. We did an approval, did a preliminary approval, made your findings and declarations of findings, probably in the end of October. That preliminary approval is subject to a permissive referendum. Permissive referendum requires 30 days to see if the public puts in a petition to challenge it. That 30 days expired at the end of November, and so it's right to do a final order, which is in front of you to extend the district.
Okay. Is anyone prepared to make that motion?
I don't even have a copy of it, so, oh, yes, I do. Which means I haven't read it or reviewed it, so I'm not gonna make any motions.
We
don't have to do it today,
let's hold this off to the next meeting then.
Okay.
I think we should have an opportunity to review things we're voting on. They're my pet peeves. Go figure. And since it's not even on the agenda, we can't even table it off the agenda.
Right. Okay. We'll just hold that over, give Selene one last thing to do. All right. Do we have any budget transfers? I don't believe we do. Okay, let's move on to bills over $12.50. We don't have any of those either.
We do,
We have
we do,
one.
we do.
I have
One?
one in there.
From the sewer, yeah, you missed the letter of,
There's a building permit.
you're right, requesting a building permit extension.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
And I want you to say his name.
Where is that?
It's in the agenda book, 2 pages before for your information.
I've seen that in the mailbox.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see it. You didn't get it.
You didn't get that,
This
okay.
is just a building.
Mr.
Oh, and
Sinatra.
now I know why Cellini's not here. He has to pronounce this person's name.
What is the building department? Give him the green light, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I move we grant him a 6-month extension.
Who are we granting a 6-month?
Yeah.
Mr. Sardanovic will
Mr.
get a
S.
6-month.
You're gonna make me say it.
It's Sardanovic.
Say it?
Sardanovic.
Sardanovic. Okay.
Second time.
There's a second?
Yeah.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay. And, is there any old business
Well, we have a bill.
We still have
on
a
the
bill.
Yeah, do the bill.
for the bill? I didn't get the bill either. Sarah Lee,
You didn't get a bill either?
no, so,
Last thing.
so the water and sewer department wants to purchase a 24.5 foot long FF 6-inch flange, X flange.
Yeah, so
I've
you-
always wanted one of those.
You can have the old one if you want.
Give him the used one, drop it off at his house.
You can have the old FF5. It's the old version.
Barbara will
It's
make
got
it
as
into
the
a planter.
FF5. What's your pleasure, folks?
I move we pay it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good.
Well, if
Thank
they
you.
need it, what are we gonna do, say no?
And did everyone get the bills?
Yes.
Yes. And
Order
they've been
bills.
audited, and I accept the motion to order the bills paid.
Second, or make that motion.
Is there a
They all
second?
Properly audited bills.
I'll second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have one item of new business, Mary Lee, fuel oil and de-icer bids.
Yes, the liquid de-icer and fuel oil, every December we go out to bid annually, and then they're awarded, and by the end of the year, then the, new bids will take over. So I've spoken with Richard, who advised me he wasn't gonna be here this evening. We are all set, we can open the bids on the 12th, that will give us sufficient time for publication, because they have to do it based on the, cost of index, number for the fuel oil. And we can open them at 2 PM on that Thursday, and then they can be awarded in time at the next meeting on the 17th, so they can take effect for the new year.
Okay, good. It's your
So I just
pleasure.
need, a resolution to authorize me to go out to bid on them.
And can we have one?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Public comment? Pam?
I'd like to follow up on Mr. Billig's interpretation of the misinterpretation, because we had a discussion here at the last meeting about the tables and the blank spaces and what they represented, that they didn't represent anything, they didn't represent a change in our anything, in our schedules, in our laws, it didn't represent any change. And their numbers are based on their interpretation of the fact that those blank spaces on the tables mean that there's nothing there. So I think we have a big issue here that I think really needs to be addressed as soon as possible so that we can be dealing with the accurate numbers, okay? Because once we're going through this misinterpretation, that misinterpretation, they're doing all these studies, they're laying out all this money, and we're not saying no, we're gonna have a problem here. Thank you.
I just, wouldn't normally comment, but I just want to say, I don't know if this will allay some of your fears, but it's not their interpretation that we have to accept. They will wind up accepting our interpretation. And it's standard practice in planning boards, when you see those blank spaces, you always take the number that's on top, and that filters down, so it may not be written. You see it as empty boxes, but it's actually the number that's above it that applies. That's standard practice in planning boards wherever you go. So It's not that the number's actually blank, it's just, I don't know why they don't put them in, but that's the way it's done. So those numbers do exist, and if they're interpreting it wrong, that's fine, because they'll have to accept our interpretation. Anyone else? Okay, accept the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, okay. All in favor? Thank you, everyone.